Hey friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my 3 months of market prep recap. So to this day, it's been almost exactly 3 months since my last crochet market, and that feels kind of wild because ever since then I've been pretty much non-stop market prepping. So this is everything that I have accumulated so far. This box is filled to the brim and this box is full of mini plushies, and while I feel like I've been keeping up pretty well with my inventory tracker, I still don't really know like how many plushies exactly I have prepped in those 3 months and like the total amount of inventory I have currently accumulated. So I thought today I would take you guys along for how I take inventory on my market prep, and we will see how much I actually got done in those 3 months. So grab yourself a coffee or a project to work on and let's do some inventory.
It comes and goes in the blink of an eye. Soon as I swear you've been left behind, all the colors come back so bright. Wish I could keep you in black and white, sort of like a picture in a drawer. I don't wanna look at anymore, but it's too hard to ignore that I'll never not feel like yours. Holding on to someone new's the only time I feel like I'm still holding on to you. It's like an instant rewind to New Year's Eve at midnight. Taste your lips like not the red wine. Wish I wasn't looking back on you, but I still do. Deja vu, deja vu, deja vu. It comes and goes like the pull of a wave. Here for a second and down the drain. I'm getting dizzy doing double takes. I'm overseeing you and everything, but it's too hard to ignore that I'll never not feel like yours. Oh no, holding on to someone new's the only time I feel like I'm still holding on to you. It's like an instant rewind to New Year's Eve at midnight. Taste your lips like not the red wine. Wish I wasn't looking back on you, but I still do. Deja vu, deja vu, deja vu. Holding on to someone new, it's the only time.
Okay, so that was actually kind of overwhelming to set all of this up. It honestly also took way longer than I thought, but I really wanted to put all of my plushies out that I made in the past 3 months. So this is just what I made for market prep. None of my Etsy orders or other plushies like pickup orders or anything are included in here because I've obviously already sold those. So this is everything that I was able to prep for my upcoming fall and winter markets in the past 3 months. I also have some plushies left from my spring markets, which I will not be including in this video, but I do have around 1,000 euros worth of inventory left from those spring markets. But it is such a satisfying shot to have all of them laid out, and honestly I'm quite impressed. I thought it would be slightly less, but let's get into the details. I have my notebook right here, so I will be writing down the quantities so that we can actually tally them up and see how many plushies and the total worth of my inventory is. So let's get into the inventory. I thought I would start out with my mini plushies because first of all, I have quite a lot of them, and second of all, they tend to be some of my best sellers because they're easy to grab for like little kids. They can spend their pocket money on them, and also like for families when they have multiple kids, they usually tend to pick up one mini plushie each. So that is why I try to make a lot of them in my market prep planner, which is what I use to track my inventory. I don't have it with me right now, but I can put a picture up of what it's looking like. So I have this market prep planner where I wrote out my ideal inventory for my markets, and I have the planner organized by the different types of plushies I want to make and the quantities and also the colors I like to make, because over the course of the last 1.5 years, like the whole time I've been doing markets for, I have kind of realized that some of the plushies sell better in one color than the other. So I was able to kind of adjust that to what I know from my markets to prep like different amounts for different colors for different items. But let's get into the mini plushies first. So the first type of item I wanted to show you are my bee chains. So these little bees on keychains, and these are the only plushies that I always have on keychains. I don't sell them without keychains because I also have slightly bigger bees that don't come on keychains, so people can pick out whether or not they want a keychain or not. And this pattern is by Jaded Crochet on Instagram. It's a free pattern and I sell these for €6 each. They tend to do pretty well for me, these little keychain bees. And so far I've been only selling them in 2 color variations, so yellow and brown, and then yellow and black. But recently I made a 3rd variation, which is this mustard, golden, and black. And I'm really curious to see how they will do in the future because personally I really like this color combination. So far I have prepped 2 in this new variation, and I will add them back into the bin that they came out of right now so that I have everything like packed up again after doing inventory. They aren't tagged yet. Also, something I wanted to mention, these aren't tagged yet, but I will actually drop all of my inventory that I have prepped in the past 3 months off at my boyfriend's parents because they have offered to actually do the whole tagging process for me, which is so nice of them because that actually takes quite a long time, and that is time that I can now use to market prep some more or do other tasks that I need to do for my small business. So that is awesome. That is why I'm packing it up again, and they will do that for me pretty soon. So 2 in the mustard color. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 10 in the yellow and black, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 in the yellow and brown. So that is, if I count correctly, 22 bee chains. And this is just what I'm writing down, so not sure if you're able to read this, but it's 22 bee chains. And then I'll write down €6 because that is how much I sell them for, and then we can tally up the total at the end. So now let's get into the next type of plushie that I have prepped, which are my mushroom pops. So these little guys, they are also a free pattern by Cable and Canvas on YouTube. So I also sell these for €6. I've been thinking about whether or not I should actually bump them up to 7 because they actually take the longest out of my mini plushies because you have to do quite a lot more rows for them to be able to like pop up and down. But I'm not entirely sure. I might change that throughout the fall and winter season once I realize if I am running too low on mini plushies and I can't really keep up with the demand, then I might adjust them because they take a little longer. Also, like the little spots take quite a while to embroider, so I'm thinking about it, but I'm not entirely sure yet. And then for these little guys, I like to have 5 of each color in my inventory, except for the red color where I want to have at least 10 of them. So I did have a couple of those left over from my spring markets, so I didn't prep 5 in every single color because, as I said, I had some left. So I prepped 2 in this bright orange, 5 in this dark green. I have 1 in this bright green, 1 in turquoise. I have 2 in light blue, 2 in this super bright blue, and then 2 in this darker blue. I have 5 more in this purple, 3 in this baby pink, 5 in this bright pink, and then I actually tried out a new color, so this very bright pink. I only made 2 of. I'm really excited to see if they are more popular than some other shades of pink because personally I think this is my favorite pink colored mushroom, but we will see if people actually end up liking those. And then I actually have all 10 of the red mushrooms prepped. So these as I said, tend to be the most popular color just because like they're the classic red mushrooms. So I might actually throughout the season adjust quantities and like switch it up so that I have even more of the red mushrooms in stock, but we will see about that. And then something I forgot to mention so far is for the rest of my mini plushies, I have an option to add a keychain. So the bee chains are always on keychains. Wow. But for the rest of the mini plushies, I have like a little sign that explains to people that adding a keychain is optional, and I charge €1 for that because like for the hardware, and then also like because it takes a little while to attach it. So that is always an option for my other mini plushies, or if people wanted like a bigger plushie on a keychain as well, that would of course be possible too. But usually people tend to only choose mini plushies for that. And I would say around like 1 in 10 to 15 people actually wants a keychain added. So that is definitely a good thing to have, or like a good option to offer for people. But yeah, it makes it way easier for me to prep, because otherwise I would have to like guess which colors I would want to add a keychain to and like how popular those would be. And that just makes it like a little more customizable for people, and nobody has ever complained about like the small little service fee that I charge for the keychains. So in total I have 40 mushrooms, which I have counted out, and they also sell for €6 right now. So let me write that down. And let's move on to the next category of mini plushies, which are the mini chicks with hats, just because they're right next to me. So these actually are so popular, and not just around Easter, which I originally thought, or I originally made them for, but people ended up liking them all year round, and that is why I decided to keep them in stock all year round. So this is a pattern by Aki Plushies on Instagram. It's also a free pattern, and the original is like with a little green hat with a little frog head. So usually you would have like a little baubles on top of the hat and like add little eyes into those for it to be a frog hat. But I leave out the baubles. I just make these little regular hats, and people really like them. I think it's because like they're so round and like very cutesy, so people are obsessed with those, and I like to prep lots of different colors for those. I think that I have them in the most color variations for all of my mini plushies, just because people are so obsessed with picking out the favorite color for these. So I want to offer as many different colors as possible. So let me show you all of the different colors I have prepped. Okay, so first of all I have light blue, and I have 3 in this color. Actually, I have 4. I missed one, so I have 4 in the light blue. I have 1 in this light turquoise, and then 3 in this darker turquoise. I have 3 in this bright blue, 1 in this bright green, and then I also have a different shade of green, so that is the difference. I have 1 in this, and then 5 in the other shade. I have 2 in this dark turquoise, 5 in this darker blue, 5 in lilac. These are always super popular. 3 in the bright red, 4 in bright pink, and then 4 in the baby pink. So that makes a total of 40 mini chicks with hats as well. And I sell them for €6 as well, as I do for all of my mini items. So let's move on to the next category of mini plushies. Okay, so the next category of mini plushies are my baby whales, and I really like those as well. These are by Rose and Gray Crochet on Instagram, another free pattern. These are the quickest plushies to make that I have in my whole inventory, and usually like throughout the busy season, which is like the fall and winter season, once I run low on mini items, which I am definitely going to do as well again this year, I tend to only make those because they just take me the least amount of time. This takes me like less than 10 minutes to make, and I can prep a whole lot of them just like right before my markets or like in between market days. So these are definitely a great staple to have. And this color that I'm currently showing you is the most popular color. So this medium blue is always super popular. I have 5 in this color prepped because I still have a couple left in stock from my spring markets. So I want to have 10 of those in stock and then 10 of the light blue. And for the rest of the colors, I want to have like at least 5 of them. So these are definitely the most popular, and I have 5 prepped. Then I have 4 in this dark blue. I have 5 in different shades of turquoise. So this light turquoise, this medium turquoise, and then the dark turquoise. I've just like been mixing it up with the different shades of turquoise to kind of see and find out which ones do the best to have more of those in the future. But at the same time, I really want to have lots of different colors for those mini plushies in stock so that people can like dig through the little bins that I have them in and find their favorite one. I have 5 in this bright blue, 1 in this variegated blue, which I'm trying out for the first time in this type of plushie. So I'm really interested to see how it does at my next market and if it will be like a staple in the future to have some variegated whales as well. I have 2 bright pink and then 2 in this darker purple, and in total I have 24 of those baby whales prepped. So let's move on to the final mini plushie and then we can get into the actual like bigger plushies that I have made. So the final type of mini plushie that I have in stock are my baby octos. And these are another free pattern by Hooked and Beyond on Instagram. And these tend to do pretty well as well. I really like the little tentacles. I prefer like the little actual curling tentacles for the baby octos. I know there's a ton of patterns out there that have like little bobbles instead of these tentacles. And I think they would be way quicker to make. But honestly, I really like the look of those way more, so I have decided to go with just those. And for my baby octos, I actually have quite a lot to prep still. I only have 15 of those made. I have a couple left in stock from my spring markets, but I really want to make a lot more. But I still have a couple of weeks until my busy season starts, so I'm very positive that I can get up to my goal of 50 of those as well. But for now, in the past 3 months of market prep, I have made 4 in this bright orange, 2 in a bright red, and 1 in baby pink, 3 in this lilac color, 2 in this bright turquoise, and then 3 in this bright pink. And I definitely know I have to make some more in like all kinds of shades of blue, but I just haven't gotten to them yet. I really like to make those like while I'm on the go, like in the car or on a road trip or something, because they're just like so easy to prep in bulk. Just make the bodies and then add the eyes in later. And you can add eyes into all of them at the same time, and then you just have to close them up and you don't have to like add a different color change, sew anything. So these are super easy and super perfect to prep on the go. So that is what I usually always do when I know that I have like a road trip coming up or something. I always take yarn to prep a couple of those while in the car. So that is a big plus for this pattern, and that's what I like to do for those. And as I said, I have 15 of those prepped, which means in total, I've just added it up, I have 141 mini plushies prepped in the past 3 months. So let me write that down. And for now, for my market prep, I've actually been dividing those out from all of the other plushies I make. First of all, to make it easier for my boyfriend's parents to tag all of them, because all of these are €6 and they can just add like the same little €6 tags to all of them and don't have to like look through all of the inventory. And then also over the course of the season, I like to separate out my mini plushies from the other plushies so that I can easily grab from this bin to restock those throughout the season and have them like separated out. That just makes it easier for me personally. So I will be keeping them separated from the rest of my inventory. But now let's get into all of these bigger guys. So these are all of the plushies that I sell for more than €6. And let's start out with the next size of plushie, which are the bigger bees that I have already mentioned earlier. So this is my own pattern on YouTube. So these tend to be pretty popular as well. And I have two color variations for those. I have the yellow and black, and then I have the rainbow bees. And these have been so popular at my spring markets. So I definitely wanted to make a lot more than I have been making before, because before it was like usually 1 in 4 was a rainbow bee, and now I've bumped it up to almost half of them being rainbow bees because, as I said, they have been so popular. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8 of the rainbow bees prepped. Let me actually get my box here so that I can put them in there while I'm counting them. Then I have the yellow and black, as I said, and then I decided to try out the like mustard and black for these as well, but I ended up not liking them as much as these. In this size, in the bee chain size, I actually really like this color combination, but like here I don't prefer it. So I decided to just keep one of those for now and see how it does at my markets, and then see if I want or need to make more of those in the future, or if I will stick with these. So I only have one of those. And then I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 for the yellow and black. So that means I have 21 of the bees prepped, and I sell them for €8 each. So next up, let's move on to probably the biggest category of plushies that I have prepped in the past 3 months, which are my chubby little birds. And I have 3 different types of birds for those: chicks, penguins, and mallards. And they all tend to be pretty popular. They are usually one of my top 5 bestsellers at every market. The popularity of the different types of birds kind of cycles through the season. In the spring, the chicks are the most popular, and then in the fall and winter, the penguins and the mallards are more popular, but they tend to be bestsellers nonetheless. I do market them as stress ball birds, so I have a little sign that says stress ball birds next to them. So people are always like super intrigued and pick them up and kind of like squish them. I don't put like an actual stress ball in there. I just stuff them a little more firmly than I do my other plushies, so that they're actually like really squishable. And people tend to really like that, and also like pick them up, not just for little kids, but also for their colleagues or friends to keep those on their desk. So I definitely recommend marketing those as stress ball birds. This pattern is by Haru Crochets on Etsy, and it's definitely worth it. It is such a bestseller. I usually can't really keep up with making those. Luckily, they don't take a long time to make, and these are also perfect for crocheting them like while in the car, because they are super simple to make. And yeah, I sell them for €10 each. So let me get into how many of each of the different types of chubby birds I've made up. So for the chicks, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So let me write that down. For the mallards, I have 2, 6, 10, 14, and 15. And then for the penguins, I actually have different color variations, as you can probably tell from the background. So I have the regular penguins, I have pink, purple, and blue. And I would say the regular penguins are probably the most popular, but these are always like such an eye catcher, and people tend to pick up those as well. So for now, my goal is to have 30 of those penguins in stock in total, like for my ideal inventory. Same with the mallards and the chicks. So 30 of each of those little chubby birds. And then I want to have like 10 of each of the color variations, because as I said before, for the fall and winter season, the penguins tend to like gain popularity. So I really want to have lots of those in stock. So currently prepped in the regular color variation, I have 4, 8, 12 and 13. I have 1 in the pink and then 5 in blue and another 5 in purple. So that means with all of the different color variations, I actually have 24 penguins in my inventory. So I just wrote that down. And let's move on to the next category, which is also quite a big one. I had a whole week where I focused on this type of plushie, and those are my cats. So this is what they look like. I'm really obsessed with the, let me defluff this one, with the body shape for those. I don't make the loaf cats because I just prefer this body shape for cats. This pattern is by Big Bibbies, not sure how it's pronounced. These are like not super simple to figure out because the pattern, I have to say, is not that detailed. But once you figure it out, it's actually a pretty simple pattern and it's no sew, which is always awesome. And these do so well. People usually like look through them and look for a cat that kind of looks like theirs or like a friend's or something like that. And I make them in lots of different fur patterns. So just for example, I have these, which I started out with. So solid color cat with a white belly, white feet, and a white tip of the tail. I then have some like calico inspired cats, I think. I have some with just spots in general all over the body. And then I also have some solid colored cats, which are also pretty popular. And I sell all of them for 14 euros, even though like they take me a slightly different amount of time to make, but that is all right for me. So in total, I have 15 of those made. So let me go through them quickly for you. I have 2 in this dark gray, which are always super popular. So I have 2 of those. I then have 2 more solid color cats. So one in this sand color and one in this like sand beige color. I have both of those with like the belly patch as well. I have 2 orange kitties with the belly patch. I have 2 more orange kitties, one with like a half white and half orange and one with orange spots. I have 2 more little spotted kitties, one in this brown and one in this dark gray. I have 2 little calicos, which are like kind of mirrored, which I think is super cute. And then finally I have this half gray, half white kitty. Okay, and then next up is a type of plushie where I definitely still have quite a lot to work on because I didn't really get to prepping them all that much, and they are also pretty popular for me. And I'm talking about my little turtles. So this is what they look like. And people really like those. This is a pattern by the Friendly Red Fox on their blog. So it's a free pattern. It's a no-sew turtle pattern, which is awesome because that saves you quite a lot of time. And I think that this is like the perfect size. It's not huge. So I can sell them for 16 euros, which makes them very shoppable. If I have the time, I would really like to make a bigger turtle though, just to display that on my table as well and like pose the little ones around it so that they kind of look like a little family. So I would really like to do that in the future if I end up having the time before my busy season. But for now, I just have 5 of those prepped. So 3 with this turquoise body and then like a beige shell. So this is a different shade of beige than these 2, but still pretty similar. So 3 of those. And then the other 2 actually also have the turquoise body. I do also make other shades of those, but I haven't gotten to them. I also have lots of them with beige bodies and then different colored shells. I have like completely monochrome turtles, so blue with like a light blue body and a darker blue shade, purple in the same way, pink in the same way. And then I also have like natural colored turtles, what I like to call them, with like a green body and then a brown or beige shell as well. So these are the types of turtles that I usually like to make, but for now I only have the ones with the turquoise body made. So currently just 5 turtles, which I sell for 16 euros, as I said. And then next up I have another popular seller, which are my brontosauruses. I currently only have 3 of those prepped. This is the most popular color, this green. And in my ideal inventory, I would like to have 10 of those prepped. I think I have 2 or 3 left over from the spring markets, and then I have these 3 prepped. I want to have 3 of those 10 be in this color, 2 in this, because this tends to be super popular as well. Not sure why they're actually like coming across as two-toned on camera. Like in real life, they're one shade. Not sure what's happening here. Maybe I have like switched skein in each of those and it's picking that up, but like in real life, they are coming across as one shade. So 3 in this, 2 in this, and then 1 in each of the other colors. So green tends to do the best, but I also have this orange. I have a red, a blue, pink, and turquoise, I think. So those are the colors I have them in, and I sell them for 22 euros each. And they're also made from a free pattern by Kaylee Crochets on Instagram. Lots of people actually get them for little kids because they can just like grab the neck of those really easily and carry those around. So that is a popular reason to get those. So 3 of those dinos. And now we're getting into one-offs or new patterns. So first of all, I only have 1 of those prepped currently, but I have been making them for a while now. And I'm talking about my big octos. So this is what they look like. Obviously, this is a variegated one. And I actually pattern tested this pattern quite a while ago. It is by Black Cat Stitches on Instagram as well. And yeah, these tend to do pretty well again for little kids because they can play around with the tentacles. And I sell them for 15 euros each. I think I have like 2 or 3 left over from my spring market, and I would like to have 10 of those in stock. Most of them solid colored, but the variegated ones tend to do pretty well as well. So I wanted to make those as well. So only 1 of those prepped right now, but I definitely want to make more of those as well. And then I'm getting into the patterns that I'm trying out for the first time. I made all of those for the first time for my Share the Love IG challenge, which challenged me to try out 5 new patterns. And I have 1 of each of those in my inventory. So first of all, let's start out with the biggest one. This is Edda, the duck. This is by Spreeberry Creative on Instagram. And I think that I will sell this one for 35. And I really like this one. I think it's perfect for like a little kid as well. So I have 1 of Edda made. I tried out this Jellycat Cloud for the first time as well for this challenge. And I think I will sell this one for 15 euros. I have 2 of these little seahorses, which is a pattern by Crochet Grove. And I will be selling those for 12 euros each, even though they took kind of a long time to make. But I think that they like are such a small size, and I think that 12 euros will be the price that people are actually willing to pay for those. So those will be going for 12 each. I have my little alligator that I tried out, and I don't know on the top of my head who this pattern is by, but I will put it here. And I will be selling this one for 12 euros as well, and trying out how popular this is. Yeah, I might make some more of those in the future because I think that this is such a cool pattern. It's also no sew, so everything is crocheted into the round. So I'm really hoping that this one ends up being popular because I would really like to make a couple more of those in the future. But for now, for like these new patterns, I'm trying it out, only having 1 of those in stock. And then if they are popular, I will like actually put them onto my inventory planner and like plan out to have at least a couple of those in my inventory in the future. And yeah, I will be selling this one for 12 euros. Not sure if I already said that. And then I have the final pattern that I tried out for my challenge, which is this little elephant. And I'm super obsessed with this one. This is a free YouTube tutorial by Coffee and Crochet 01. So I really like this one, and I think I will be selling this one for 16 euros as well, just like my turtles, because I think like it took a similar amount of time. You do have to sew a little bit for this pattern, otherwise I would be able to sell it for cheaper, but this actually took a little while, so I'm thinking 16 is fair for him, and I definitely think that he will find a home. And now we're getting into the big boys. So the last pattern that's not my own is this giraffe, which is by Crochet Grove. This is such a cute pattern. I really like this one. The last time I made this and brought it to my market, it actually sold as the first market I brought it to, and I think I sold it for 45 euros. So I think I will keep it at that for now and see if these giraffes keep selling super quickly. I might bump it up in the future, but for now I think 45 is fair for this one. So I only have one of those made, and for now I think I will just keep it at one until it sells. So we will see about that, but 45 for this one. And then the final 5 that I have prepped are all of my own patterns. I recently designed 2 patterns. One is this sleepy little bear, and then one is the sleepy little elephant. So these 2 guys, they're pretty similar in body shape and size. So these are the ones I made while writing the pattern. So I have quite a couple of those. I have 2 of the sleepy little bears. And then I actually have a prototype for a panda, which was the first one I made. And then I designed these from this prototype. So I actually have 3 little bears, and then I have 2 little elephants. So quite a lot of those, and I will be selling each of those for 40 euros because they actually are quite decent size plushies. So 5 different sleepy little animals for 40 euros each. Okay, so those were all of the plushies that I have prepped. I just counted it out, and for the bigger plushies I have 106 of those made. So adding that up with the 141 mini plushies, I actually have 247 plushies made over the course of the past 3 months, and that is, I think, a pretty good number. I obviously don't think I will sell them all at my first market, and honestly I don't hope that I do, because I actually have 24 market dates coming up for the fall and winter season, which is kind of crazy. I do also have my candle business, which you can probably tell from the background, so I'm really hoping that that will help me keep some stock over the course of the winter season, because otherwise with just my plushies I think that would be kind of insane to do 24 market days. But yeah, let's talk about some totals for my 3 months of market prep. So as I said, I made 247 plushies, and the total amount of inventory that I was able to make for my upcoming markets is currently 2,255 euros, which honestly is not as much as I had hoped for. I had hoped for at least 3,000 euros because I thought that I would easily be able to make at least 1,000 euros in inventory every single month. So I definitely still have a ton to do for the next, I think it's still like 5 weeks until my first market of the season. So I definitely have quite a lot more market prep to do for that. But yeah, so far that is my full 3-month market prep recap. I hope that this was inspiring or insightful for you to watch. Let me know which plushie was your favorite out of all my makes, or also comment down below some patterns that I should definitely try out for market prep, some of your best sellers, some of like the plushies that you really like to make, and I will make sure to check those out in the future. So now all I want to say at the end of the video is thank you so much for watching this one all the way until the end, and don't forget to subscribe because I have lots more of market prep videos and then a ton of market vlogs coming up for the rest of the year. And yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and helping me do my inventory. I will see you guys again next week for another video. So until then, bye!